Morning students, I am Manpreet Kaur, your SST teacher. As you know that your midterms examination are going to start from Monday. So regarding the same, we are going to revise the unit 3 of SST. Before starting the revision, I want you all to open your supplementary books, NCERT books and have a pen and pencil with you. Before starting the revision, I want to say that this revision video and the worksheet that we are providing is very important from the midterm exam perspective. So do practice these worksheet and see these video. Okay students, now without wasting much time, let's start the revision. Students, now we are going to revise the unit 3 and the important topics of this unit. We have already learned in the previous class about the changes in the medieval period. Now we are going to briefly discuss these changes. You know that the historical changes that occur in the medieval period are the social changes, which include changes in food and technology, changes in religions, changes in languages. The religious changes include the Bhakti movement, which have given birth to the religion like Jainism and Buddhism. On the other hand, the political changes include the rise of new political groups such as the Cholas and Mughals. Now we will look that what do you mean by region and empire. Kingdoms. Now during the medieval period, many small kingdoms were established between 700 to 1200 century. There were many small kingdoms in the subcontinent as shown below. If we look in the picture, you can easily find that these are small kingdoms like Kanauj, Gujatra, Chalukyas, Gangas, Mughal, and all these kingdoms later on around 1200 century changed themselves into big empires. Now, what do you mean by empires? After 1200 century, some of these kingdoms were replaced by empires. Sometimes the empires cover more than one region and came to be known as pan-regional empires. Similarly, as you can see in the picture, the Delhi Sultanate includes the different kingdoms like Delhi, Agra, Banaras, Calcutta, Surat and all. So now these kingdom changes themselves into Delhi Sultanate. Now if we have just looked the map, then the Palas fall in the Bengal, Cholas were in the Tamil Nadu, present day Tamil Nadu, Rashtrakutas have ruled over Maharashtra, Chahmanas have ruled over Rajasthan and Gujar Pratiharas have ruled over Uttar Pradesh. Now let us discuss about what do you mean by prashastis, land grants and their reliability. Now there were two literary sources of history. As we know, historians examine written sources of history to learn about the past. Today we will learn about two sources of history from this period. They might look similar but they are quite different. The first one is Prashasti and the other one is land grant. Now Prashastis. Prashasti is the Sanskrit word. It means praise. In medieval India, authors wrote in praise of kings and their achievement. These texts were known as prashastis. They could be manuscript or inscriptions. As you can see in the picture, there is a prashasti in the form of inscription. Now the question arises that who wrote these prashastis? Answer is Brahmins often wrote prashastis in praise of king. In exchange, the king would grant Brahmana a plot of land. Now, record of land grants. Now, these gifts of land from the kings to Brahmins were recorded as land grants. They could be in the form of inscription or manuscript. They were official records from that period with the details of the piece of land and the owner's name. Students, as you can see in the picture that there is a big stone and it has some inscription on it. These were very important sources of history as they used to tell that who were the king at that period of time and to whom this land grant was given. Now we will move to the new kings and kingdoms that we have already discussed the Cholas. So here we are going to discuss about the Chola administrative structure. Now, various bodies assisted the king in carrying out the administration of the empire as shown in the chart below. We know that if we have to do any task, it's not possible to do a task single handed. So, the king can't rule the whole city or a country on its own. It needs some or few helpers, and these are known as their members of the administration. So the Chola Empire included the king as a head of administration. Then it includes Ur. It was council of peasants. It includes Sabha. It was council of Brahman landlords, and then the Nagaram, which was council of traders for trade related activities. Now, Ur functioned in non Brahman villages. They were controlled by rich Vela peasants, and the Sabha was functioned in villages given as land grants to the Brahmins. Then comes the Nagaram, who were operated in towns with markets known as Patanams or for local produce. Now, if the king had to get any work done in the villages, he could get it done through the Ur or Sabha. Then we will discuss about the accomplishments of the Cholas. Now, the accomplishments of the Cholas in the sector of art, agriculture, and architecture. In the sector of art, bronze sculptures were popular in temples. Then, many artisans and craftsmen started making bronze sculptures. In the case of agriculture, if we discuss, they had given very much contribution. The Cholas were responsible for extending large scale cultivation. Channels were made to ensure that river water reached fields. Then, in case of architecture, big temples were built by Raja and Rajendra, and these temples and also had marketplaces. Now, let us discuss about the emergence of Delhi as a seat of power. When kings and rulers become powerful, they establish some places as important political centers. Usually, a king's capital becomes the kingdom or empire's most important political center. In around 6th to 11th century, here are some of the political centers in India, which are Harappa, Patliputra, Kannauj, Kashmir, and Mathura. About the Harappa, you might have learned in the 6th class. Then, in the 11th century, Delhi emerged as a capital for the first time under the Tomra dynasty. The remains of a fort was built by the Tomras in Mehrauli, Delhi. You can find the remains of that fort today as well. Okay, student, this was all for the day. The rest unit we are going to cover tomorrow. I hope that all your doubts regarding this unit have been clear to you. And at last, I want to say that all the best for exam. Do practice the questions that are provided to you in the worksheet because they are very important for the midterm exam perspective. And at last, I want to say that thank you and have a nice day.